It's a really important thing to talk about when you got a team of 85 guys on scholarship and then another 120 something total guys in the program. Kirby Smart was talking about sort of the motivation for the players at Georgia, and he this is the statement he gave. He said that they're all in and playing for the University of Georgia. That's what we had last year. Kids were playing for Georgia, not independently, not independent contractors, not people trying to find NIL deals. They really cared about the University of Georgia. They really cared about University of Georgia when you find that and sell that as a staff, it makes it much better. And when you think back to the season Georgia had and the players that were on the roster, Jordan Davis didn't have an NIL deal until either right on top of the season or during the year. I mean, he's not a guy that came into the year with a deal. The only person that I remember who had a deal that mattered in any way was JT Daniels, and that was an autograph signing deal. So it's a substantial deal, but none of the guys were overly concerned about that thing. Now, it's important to remember that what Kirby's talking, you can do both. But it's important to remember that for Georgia, the 2021 season started with a really challenging game in Charlotte against Clemson. So they weren't going to get on a roll and do all these, big deal things like NIL and beyond if they didn't win their first game. So the bulk of the focus of the season in the summer coming in was that Clemson game. And obviously they played pretty well on defense. Offensively, they left some points on the table, but that set the stage for everything else that was to come. When Kirby is talking about, he's talking to two different crowds when he has these conversations with people. First of all, when you start talking about playing for the University of Georgia, that sounds really good, and it really sells to alums and to sort of the um, what's the term? The I was going to say caregivers, but that's the wrong way to put it. The university community, students, faculty, alum. When you say, "Oh, they're playing for the University of Georgia," it sounds like they really are playing for that. That's just a substitute for the team. It just means team. And if guys are not willing to play for their teammates, then that's when you have a real problem. Um, this is not a show that lives pie in the sky. Um, Jordan Davis, N'Kobe Dean, Devontae Wyatt aren't playing for the Arches. They're playing for each other, and they can do that because of it's not about the silver britches. It's not about the G on the helmet, although that term is used a lot. Those are just substitutes for their team and the work they've done. It's no different at Georgia is no more special than any other big brand in college football. It depends on who the players are, who the coach is. If you have buy-in, you can sell that you're playing for the University of Georgia or Alabama or Florida or LSU. If you don't have that, then you have guys playing for themselves, not for Florida, not for Alabama, not for Georgia. And I remember having a conversation with a player in 2006, and this was a really turbulent time at Georgia. Um, it felt like a very turbulent time because they had just ripped off several very successful seasons in a row. But the truth was that they had lost multiple games in a row, and they were headed into the Florida game. And Florida was pretty good. They went on to win the national championship. This was not their best team. And Georgia had gone with Matthew. They had already had, I think, two losses or three. I think it must have been two losses. It was just lost to Vanderbilt, lost to Tennessee, and they were headed into the Florida game, and they had just survived Mississippi State. And the player was complaining to me. We were talking privately about why are the media asking questions this way and this, that, and the other. I said, don't worry about any of that. That you need to focus on y'all, and that's it. You all are playing just for yourselves. Don't play for Georgia. Don't play for. That's just a name. It's the players on the team are the relationship. They're the special part. You're not playing for to hear the band strike up Battle Hymn of the Republic. You get to hear that when you've done good things with your friends and your teammates and the guy. They not even have to be your friends, but the guys that are all on your team. That the fans are with you, and Georgia fans are more special than. This is definitely true. They are more special than other fans. I know that to be a fact because they've supported me through the decades, number one. Number two, more importantly to y'all, they've supported the team. They go out to Arizona, Colorado, Oklahoma, California. When those places are more than a quarter full of Georgia fans, and you're in the Pacific time zone, that just tells you how special they are. You don't get that from other schools. You just don't. Notre Dame, half full. Arizona State, 30% full. Colorado, a very solid amount of Georgia fans. Rose Bowl game, at least 50%. National championship game in Indiana, 75% Georgia, something like that. The fans are unbelievable. But it's the guys on the team doing the work that they do. That's what it is. And if you can sell that particular community, then you're really doing well. And that's what Kirby's saying they did. He's talking about how they didn't go out and get NIL deal. That wasn't the number one thing. That's what we had last year. Kids were playing for Georgia, not independently, not independent contractors, not people trying to get NIL deals. They cared about the University of Georgia. When you find that and you sell that as a staff, it makes it much better. He's talking about selling the team, selling everybody that's sacrificing in that moment in the program, and that is Georgia, and you have such great fans. I mean, I'm telling you now, I'm not making that up. People talk about South Carolina has great fans. Yeah, until the halftime, and they're all leaving the stadium to go tailgate. I mean, Georgia fans every single year take 42,000 people to another state for a game. Like that ain't no Vanderbilt doesn't bring 42,000 people to their hometown. Georgia Tech. I mean, Florida doesn't bring 70,000 sometimes to Ben Hill Griffith. I mean, they have great fans, but this is really about the kids. It is about the players on the team being selfless. I've not even promoted the book. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. The link's down below. That's the number one way that you can support this channel. Hey, look, Georgia's special, but it is the kids on the team that make Georgia special. It's the coaches that make it special. It's the institution has pushed all resources towards winning, and that is important. Don't get me wrong, but the players on the team, they're the ones that make it happen. And if you sacrifice the way those guys did a season ago, not worrying about playing time if you're on the defensive side of the ball. We didn't hear a peep about Stetson from JT Daniels. We didn't hear anything about JT Daniels from Stetson. We didn't hear Carson Beck going bonkers. I mean, they're recruiting the right guys. That's the other thing. They are recruiting players who are selfless. You do not always get that. You don't get that in organization. I've been in bad organizations in media. And everybody in media that's been through that knows what I'm talking about. There's plenty of that out there. I've been in bad organizations. I mean, churches can be bad organizations. You can have bad organizations civically in government. You can have that. But in sports, you see the results immediately. And it is something that if you have a good organization with good people, the organization is only going to be as good as the people. And the players have to play for one another. The 92 team at Georgia had that. 97, I would say 02 had that. 3 and 4, 5 for sure. You had that in 7. You had that in 11 and 12. You had that in 17. I don't think you had it as much in 18. 19 was a very good team, and you definitely had it in 21. Team. That is a really important word.